Hi again, it's Laura from Hyperstamper with another antique junk journal that I want to show you. I'm very excited. This one is in my Etsy shop. It is a 1905 book, Mrs. Cottle's Curtain Lectures, and I love this image. It is in such good shape for being, almost 120 years old, and it's got a beautiful candle image on the spine as well. And I just went into my silk embroidery thread collection and I put together this little bangle to match the colors on the cover image. I just added some lace around because the image was so beautiful. It really didn't need too much more. Look at how the smoke frames the title. Isn't that lovely? So let's do a little flip through. First page, inside cover, I've done an antique page, a music page tag, and just done a little antique book page here for you to journal on, and that's in a pocket I made out of an antique book page as well. This is a hidden paper clip here, and let me show you what is on this. On this side we have a little pocket that I made, and there's a little 1920s scrapbook page paper in here. It's a bit brittle but pretty cool, and you can journal on the front and back of that piece. I made my hidden paper clip here out of a vintage stamp, and it's an Italian stamp with a music sheet on there. And then on the other side, paper clipped, is this lovely pocket here. It's a double pocket. So we have another antique book page, journaling page in here. And this is a French theater book here. Isn't that wonderful? Le Menture. And this book page is made from a vintage pattern, and some lace, and a lovely snowbird snipe dictionary page from 1945. So those will get clipped right back onto their page, and I'm going to do that later so I don't hold you up on this. There we go. Look at this. It's just a whole whack of treasures here. I made this little extra booklet out of my scrap ephemera. So that is just filled with more places to journal. And this really cool vintage playing card. I have never seen an old playing card like this, which looks very Victorian instead of the traditional queen. And another really old playing card here. Some Monopoly money from 1930. And another antique book page with an antique spine, book spine in there. And some antique linen. And then some vintage stamps in this vintage glassy envelope. So we're just packed loaded there with all of those goodies. Look at that. And that is all attached to a 1930s music sheet. This is a 1950s London news, illustrated London news. And I made a little envelope down here with a little yearbook photo in it. Sharon Tonelli. Again, these are just from that original magazine page. This is a carbon copy of a story that I found. Somebody had hand typed it and then carbon copied it. And this lovely page here is from a craft magazine. All the different things you can do with knots and chains, chain links. I made this beautiful journaling tag out of a poem from a children's book, and I added some spine here and birch bark and antique lace to this antique page pocket. And tucked in behind here is one of those wonderful pages from the early 1900s, Emerald Isle Irish book poems. Lots and lots of places to journal on there, and really lovely poem, this one. I read them all. There's the flip side of those pages that we talked about. April 23rd, 1955. It's just wonderful. Here we have some hand-dyed pages, and this is from a 1950s theater arts magazine. Some wonderful images of the plays from 1950s. More tea-dyed paper here that I hand-stamped. And the first page of the Winston Simplified Dictionary, 1945. Isn't that awesome? And this is a vintage, I want to say the 1970s craft magazine page. Valentine keepsakes, and their Heart's Desire, which is a very, very old antique book page. And on the flip side, I've added a lovely children's book image, The New Neighbor. Isn't that sweet? And then this wonderful Prince Edward Island postcard. And I want to say, I'm really trying hard to read that, but I believe it is from 1948. And you can see the inkwell, ink used with a pen and inkwell. Another wonderful journaling tag I made out of a children's book page, and another antique book page journaling sheet here for you. So there's lots of places to journal. And one of my favorite things in this journal is this Demarest's Family Magazine from 1893. Look at that, Little Miss Muffet. These images are spectacular, especially for the 1800s. Look at that. Isn't that wonder? That's the Duke and Duchess of Veragua. I don't even know where that is, but it's very cool. So I'll just tuck those back in here. We'll keep going. Did I miss a page? Nope. Over here we have another wonderful little pocket that I made with some children's images. And this, oh, this is fun. I like this one a lot. This is an advertisement in a craft magazine. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Glamour for only pennies. Needleworks and crafts, all the different kinds of blings and pearls and notions that you could get. And there's another antique book page that you can journal on. I keep all the antique book pages that have at least one blank page on it so people can have some extra journaling spots there. I'm just trying to tuck that back in there. And then over here we have the flip side of that vintage craft magazine, which is really fun to see how they picnicked in the 70s. There we go. And there's the flip side of the book page. We've got that vintage, or 1950s actually, theater arts page. And here's a page from the university yearbook coming up. And this lovely antique doily here. Got a couple of pages here. This is from an early 1900s school book. And another, oh, look how sweet that image is. Little Donald's snuff box. Gateways to Bookland. And here is a spread from How to Make an English Garden, mid-century. Or actually, this might be earlier than that. This might be 1930s. Gateways to Bookland. Classic Alice in Wonderland page here with the lovely colors and images. Oh my gosh, the Mad Tea Party. It just brings back so many wonderful memories. Here we are, another history page here, up the Rhine River. This little bangle here I made just out of antique laces and fabrics that you can take off and reuse. And I found the little word friends in a book that I attached there, hand stamped a poppy down here. And there's that wonderful university junior basketball team yearbook page and more advertisements from that book. Another hand stamped image, and the Bath of the Birds. That just makes me happy, that page, because everybody who knows me knows how much I love birds. Speaking of which, there's the loon page, 1926 journal page. And here is a souvenir photo card. So it was like a postcard, but it would come in a booklet of lots of images. So this is Kansas City. Isn't that lovely? And this is, wow, this is from the early 30s. And another wonderful title from an antique book, Wake Up and Live. And I put a little bangle here. Again, you can remove that if you like. And another 1926 blank journal ledger page. And here is a nice, look at this one, full color cakes page out of a cookbook. So behind it would have been all the cake recipes, but the first page of that section was full color. Look at the colors of this. I don't know if it's wonderful or horrific, but it is fun. I love the way they spread out these photos. And of course there's some of the retro images here as well, but that's a really fun find. Again, everything in here that wasn't tea-dyed by me, which is just 4 pages, is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera. No photocopies, no replicas, no digital images. All the real McCoy. And this is actually from the 1800s. I had to mount it on top of another page because it was so brittle. And isn't that beautiful? Late 1800s, from a book called The Fifth Reader. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you enjoyed this tour. If you want to have a look at the prices and see dozens of other junk journals that I've made, visit etsy.com/shop/hyperstamper. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.